This is the inside of the 2021 Benimar Benivan 122. If I firstly come to the main control panel just here, you'll see that we're currently using the leisure battery. It has the time in the centre, the software version just here, and you'll see at the moment the leisure battery is charging. If I now press here, I can turn the 12 volt on. After that, we then have the isolator for the entrance lights. All the rest of the lights can then be turned on and off on their own switches. Water pump on and off just here. Water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. We then have awning light on and off. We then have its menu. So if we go back to the beginning, you'll see this is a Sargent control panel version 124. There you will now see the leisure battery is charging. And the vehicle battery is charging because we're hooked up to the main supply at the moment. We have water levels, so how much water is in the fresh tank and how much water is in the waste tank. Battery selection, so I can actually click on here and then basically run the back end of the van from the vehicle battery instead of the leisure battery. It's kind of a bit of a last resort. We then have time set, and then back to the beginning again. Beside the main control panel, we then have the controls for the Whale heating and hot water system. So we have wavy lines going up, which represents the heating, and then we have a little picture of a water droplet for the water heater. So if we start with the heating, you will see that we have a series of buttons. It's also motion sensitive, so as soon as you sort of go in front of it, it will let you know what it's up to. So we have plus and minus just here for temperature. This little moon here is what they basically suggest as a night mode if you need the heating on whilst you're asleep. It's about 16 degrees. And then this last one here is the boiler's frost protection mode. So that is set at about 5 degrees. We then have power source just here. So if we want to run the system on gas, we literally just highlight the flame like so. If we want to run the system on main supply, we then come to this one here. And you'll see we have 1 blue light, 2 blue lights or 3 blue lights. 1 blue light is main supply using about 0.75 kilowatts. 2 wavy lines is main supply using about 1.5 kilowatts, and 3 wavy lines is main supply using about 3 kilowatts. So this is just dependent on the amperage of the site that you're on to try and avoid tripping. If there is a problem in any shape or form with the heating, you will get a red exclamation mark appear to let you know. If we now come across to the water heater, you will see again we have all the buttons, and again we have temperature control just here, gas and main supply. Main supply on this one is 1 blue light 0.38 kilowatts, 2 blue lights about 0.75 kilowatts, and 3 blue lights about 1.5 kilowatts, and again just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on. We have gas just here. Whenever the system is actually fired up on gas, as I can now show just here on the heating, it will change from blue and go to this ambery colour. And as you can see, you can actually run in dual fuel if you want to get up to temperature really quickly, if you have both power sources available to you. So with this particular one, we have it running in eco mode at the moment with a little picture of the leaf. And eco mode will give you a water temperature of about 55 degrees. And then if we put it up to maximum, this will give you a water temperature of approximately 72 degrees. Again, if there's a problem in any shape or form, it will basically flash up with a red exclamation mark again. It's all highlighted in the instruction manuals. This is a very easy system to use. If we now come down to the travel seats just here, we have storage beneath. We then have the two gas rings just here. And to light, just push down, twist, and then press the igniter button. Beneath that, we then have the oven and the grill. So if I now push in and go to the left, this will fire up the oven, and if we go to the right, we can fire up the grill. Beneath the oven, we have the location of the boiler, and you'll see we have the boiler drain lever just here. So to drain the boiler down for winterization, all we need to do is make sure the water pump is turned off and then turn across like so. This will then drain all the water out of the boiler. To refill it, pop it back to this position just here, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and it will then begin to prime the system back up again. You will need to open the taps up to force the air out of the system. They'll cough and they'll splutter, and then once they're running freely, just close and the system will fully reprime itself back up again. When draining fully down for winterization, if you're planning on not using the motorhome for a period of time, I always suggest that you open up all the taps as well in the motorhome. This will help in releasing airlocks and the system will drain much better. Also in here, just tucked at the back, are the majority of the gas isolation taps for the van. We have hob, cooker, heating, hot water and fridge just here. So they are all in the on position. They can stay like that. I would say if you smell gas actually in the van, go underneath it, take that plate off the gas tank and isolate it at the source. Next we have the Dometic Fridge on and off just here. We can run this on main supply with a little picture of the 2-pin plug if we have it available. If we don't, we can run on gas, and these fridges automatically ignite themselves. And then lastly we have a little picture of a battery which is 12-volt maintain for when we're driving. So this will keep the fridge cold whilst we're on the move. If I select it at the moment, it will beep at us and we'll get a little error symbol just here because the engine's currently not running. You will also get this symbol if you're trying to run the fridge on main supply and you don't have mains connected, or if you're trying to run it on gas and you don't have any gas, or it may fail first few times if you've depleted the gas tank and refilled it as it forces the air out of the system. If you think it's just down to it failing because of air, etc., you can make it try again. And this is the reset button for the gas. Just press it and it will attempt again. It does highlight it just here on the sticker. Temperature control just here. We then have the washroom. So we have the cassette toilet just here. Just rotate the bowl round. Open to the cassette on the grey lever just here. And then push to flush just here. Do make sure the water bump is turned on, or otherwise it will not flush. And then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just check that nobody's left this open. Level indicator just here, so it will let you know when the cassette needs emptying. We then have the shower just here, and then we have the basin just here. Vanity cabinet above, and as you can see there's no plug hole on this basin, so just push away nice and slowly and it will then drain off. Wardrobe just here, and located in here is the table pole, which can drop in the hole in the floor at the rear or at the front. And you also find in there a fire extinguisher as well. The tabletop itself is just located here. Solar panel regulator just here. If we're in the centre, the solar panel is off. If we flick it up, we're using the solar panel to charge the vehicle battery, and if we flick it down, we're using the solar panel to charge the leisure battery. Digital amplifier for the television aerial just here, on and off. Control the boost just here. And then plug in the television just here. If I now just come to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and if we now lift up, you will see that we have the consumer unit just located here. So we have the main strip switches just here. So we have the individual MCBs, and they're labelled up. We then have the main RCD and test button just here. So if something's not working on main supply, just come here to check to see whether or not you've tripped. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here, and again all labelled up just here. So if something's not working on 12 volt, just check to see whether or not you've blown a fuse. 2 isolator switches just here for components that use main supply. So we have the green one for the battery charger. So if I turn that one off, we will no longer be charging the batteries from the main supply when we're connected. So quite frankly, this can be left alone. This is more for maintenance than anything else. And we then have the isolator for the heating and hot water just here. So again, if I turn that off, we will get red exclamation marks appear on the control panels for the whale systems if we're trying to run it on mains electricity. So again, really it can be left alone. This black button just here is if you want to completely shut the back end of the motorhome down if you're not going to be using it for a long period of time. Also in here we have the leisure battery itself just here, and the main 12 volt fuse just here. You can also see the mains cable just there, storage just here, underneath the other bench seat we literally just have a storage compartment, and then storage just there, and then we have the 2 bars to make the double bed. These drop into these sections just here. So with this van you can either have 2 single beds or a double. If we're going to have a double, we need to take those bars and put them into place. So as you can see, I've now installed both bars. Then all we need to do is just slide these 2 sections both out so they meet in the middle. And then once we've done this, we can then just pop the 2 back cushions into place, and then we have the double bed, and there we have a nice large double bed.